Well, all right, we got Giants Vikings into playoffs. Should be a fun game, I think. In this video, we're going to talk about the Giants offense, how I think it'll play against the Vikings defense. And the nice thing is, we saw these two teams play each other just a couple weeks ago. So definitely going to be doing a lot of, talking about what happened in that game, maybe some of the little differences. I think that will be, that happened in that game that'll be different in this game. We'll have some predictions on how I think the Giants offense will do at the end of the video, so all that good stuff. But first, let's just get into, what happened the first time these two teams played. So first, let's look at the box score statistics here. You see Daniel Jones, 334 yards, but on 42 attempts. So, not crazy yards per play, but still pretty good. The 1 touchdown, 1 interception ratio. They also had a rushing touchdown, as Saquon Barkley had a good day in this one. 6 yards per carry on 14 carries. Daniel Jones also had a little bit of rushing yards in this one, and the receiving players were, again, a bit all over the place. We got Richie James, who's actually been a pretty good role player for them as of late. Isaiah Hodgins, you have Darius Slayton, and then Saquon Barkley also had some receiving yards in this game. But now going over here, what this is this is the Pro Football Focus grade for every Giants offensive player who took a snap in that game. And this is how they performed in that game. The top of the list is who performed the best. Bottom is who performed the worst. And yeah, you see right at the top of the list, it's your favorite quarterback, Daniel Jones, who, he had the highest Pro Football Focus grade out of any of the offensive players in this game. So that's definitely notable, right? I mean, are you expecting him to play that good again? Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you say, hey, it's a good matchup for him. He thrives in this situation. Or if you're a Vikings fan, maybe you say, okay, Daniel Jones doesn't typically play that well, so we're going to assume he's not going to play that well next time. You could argue both sides. Also, a couple things worth noting, towards the bottom of the list, kind of the one thing that jumps out at me as well was the right side of the offensive line in this game, not very good, as Evan Neal and Mark Glanowski ended up as the, second and third lowest graded players out there. And then you also had a tight end who was, worst there. So obviously part of that is going to be blocking. So, okay, that could be a potential issue, especially when you jump over to the other side and you see that, for Minnesota, a couple pass rushers very high on the list. Danielle Hunter had a grade over 90 in this one. Zadarius Smith is the third on the list as well. So those are guys you do have to pay attention to. They're definitely guys who can make some big plays, and you just hope that if you're a Giants fan, they don't make a devastating play for you. Another couple of things to note is that you had Patrick Peterson at 10 right there, and we're going to get a little bit more into him and his potential role going forward in this playoff game. Also, Chandon Sullivan, another cornerback who was at 16th on this list with a grade of under 50, which is not very good. So potentially you could attack him. But yeah, let's just get into the film now. Let's talk about, what we saw in that game now. Because again, that stuff I think helps us kind of get a picture for what happened. But you have to watch the tape to really understand what happened. And so that's what I do. And then these are the things I found. And one thing is, I do think the Giants are probably for the best to throw away from Patrick Peterson. Don't target him too often. Again, he is definitely someone who, even at this age, can definitely make a splash play if you make a mistake. You don't want to risk that. But also just stuff like this where you have a route that, on paper, it's going to be underneath Peterson's zone. He's the guy in charge of covering the deep right-hand corner of the screen. The route goes right underneath his zone. Okay, on paper, it could work. Look at how when Jones does run this play action, you're going to see that right here. There's a window to make this throw. Again, on paper, I can see why you want to make this throw. However, watch Peterson really do a great job at coming back, and he's going to knock the ball away, not give up a catch there. He's just very good at this stuff, and I think that he could be good in this football game. So while he wasn't dominant exactly when they played last time, I still think that there's weaker options on this Vikings secondary. So again, not saying you can't throw to him, but I would probably game plan with the idea of throwing to other guys. Like, for example, something like this. The Vikings will play a bit of man. They like to play their zone, kind of what I showed last play of, 2 safety deep zone coverage. They love that kind of stuff. But you will find them in situations like this where it's a cover 1 man blitz. And like I said, maybe attack Chandon Sullivan here because you were able to have some success against him last time. The route you see on the screen, that's going to be Darius Slayton's route. It's going up against Chandon Sullivan. and watch how when this play begins, you're going to see that when Slayton cuts over the middle, he gets a good amount of separation. I mean, this is open here. And when Jones makes the throw, it only gets more open as Slayton's able to pick up a decent chunk play on that one. So, again, that just might be the way to attack because they were able to move the ball through the air in that one. Again, Saquon Barkley's going to get his yards, and that's definitely valuable, and, it allows you to control the clock if you want to. Again, this might not be the game where you want to limit possessions, or maybe it is. I don't know. That's a decision, and maybe you play it by ear there. Another thing I think that could be effective, though, is, again, I talk about Saquon Barkley a lot and his running ability, but Daniel Jones, I think, could use his legs in this one and should use his legs in this one. He's an effective runner. This is, again, one of those zone coverage plays, which you might think, okay, well, if the opposing defense is in zone, there's not that great of a way that, how are you really going to use your legs that much? But you still will have opportunities. Watch how when this play begins, just with the way that it was defended, when Daniel Jones steps up in the pocket, there's really no one over the middle of the field in this spot. Jones is able to run up. He's going to be able to pick up a first down, really good running play by Daniel Jones. And again, he's a very mobile quarterback. He can move very well. And if he can get a couple of first downs in this one because of his legs, that could be a difference maker. So that's something that Minnesota is definitely going to have to watch out for, I think. And then finally, got to talk about this before I get into my predictions. Danielle Hunter going up against Evan Neal one-on-one. This is it's a scary situation for the Giants. It just is. Listen, you have Andrew Thomas, who's an elite left tackle. You're good on that side of the ball, but on the right side of the offensive line, you have a concern as, you're going to be going up against good competition there, and you're going to have to figure something out. Look at how when this play begins, really, Evan Neal does not really get either hand on Danielle Hunter here. He reached out with his, almost like, he reached out with his left hand to try to get the contact that way. I don't know. Interesting strategy, not working out. Watch Hunter really just blow right by him, and he's going to actually get a fumble here, but it was recovered by the Giants. And you cannot take a fumble at a bad time in the playoffs, in this game. You just can't. So again, there's things you can do. I think they should probably be, helping out Evan Neal for most of this game. I think definitely don't let Evan Neal just try to block Hunter one-on-one all game. That feels like a mistake in my opinion. I think definitely give him some help. That's what I would do. So all right, prediction time. So the defense for the Vikings, their points per drive on the season is 2.17. That's what they've given up on the year, whereas the Giants have scored 2.03. Meanwhile, in Week 16, when these two teams played the first time, the Giants scored 21 points in 11 drives, which is 2.18 points per drive. So that's kind of where they've been. So what's my prediction? Well, I do think that they should be able to still attack these secondary corners pretty effectively. I think they should still be able to run the ball pretty effectively. So I can definitely see them putting up some points in this one. The Danielle Hunter thing definitely would concern me if I'm a Giants fan, no doubt about it. But as a whole, I still think I like this matchup offensively for the Giants. I'll have them scoring 2.2 points per drive in this one. Nothing crazy. I'm not saying they're going to go off or anything, but I think they should still have a good day in this one. So that would be 22 points in an 11-drive game. We'll just say that this game will be an 11-drive game. So my prediction for them and how much they score is 22 points. Will that be enough to win this game? Well, you have to watch my other video, which I'm going to put out, probably in 2 days is what I'm thinking I'm going to do. So that'll be when I talk about, Kirk Cousins, how he'll attack the Giants defense, all that stuff. And then I'll give my prediction for how much points they'll score. And in doing that, there will then be, you'll know my prediction for what the game is itself and who I have winning. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this side of the ball for this game. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.